Hello, movie lovers. Today I want to talk a little bit about a recent Arrow release here in the U.S., Come Drink With Me. And this is a 1966 movie from Hong Kong directed by King Hu. And again, I apologize. I rehearsed everything, and I know I'll get the names wrong, pronounce them wrong, and I put them in different order, no doubt. So I apologize for that. But this is a Wuxia classic film. It really, I don't know, I guess there was Wuxia films, martial arts films before this. I think I even read where it went back to the silent film days. But this is sort of a renewal of the genre in very inventive and quite influential ways as time goes by, up to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon that Ang Lee made. And it's a beautiful Arrow presentation. They did a great job with this. They give you alternate art if you so choose. And comes with a beautiful booklet packed with a couple of essays and lots of pictures. I particularly like that artwork. And it's a story. I don't know that you go to Wuxia films for the story, but there is a story. There's in fact two stories going on. One is the story of a regional governor who has imprisoned the leader of a gang of bandits and sadistic to the max, and so the leaders kidnapped the governor's son. So we have a ransom. You let our leader go and you can get your son back, kind of thing you see in many westerns and Rio Bravo. But then the sister of this kidnapped young man, she comes to the town where these bandits supposedly are hanging out, but she's disguised as a man. And she doesn't look anything like a man. I don't know how anybody could not recognize that she's a beautiful woman, but at any rate, the ruse is dropped very quickly. This is played by Pei Pei Chung, and this is her first movie, and she was also in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She played the villainess in that film, which is almost like, 40 years later, 35, 40 years later. And she has, all the supernatural gifts of fighting. She doesn't fight with swords. She says in the interview in the supplements that she didn't like swords. So King Hu gave her these fairly long knives to fight with, one in each hand, and she's really good at it. And she turns out to be the legendary Golden Swallow. And but there's also, and the leader of the gang, number two, is also kind of interesting. Jade-faced Tiger, he's called, and he plays his part in white face, which I thought was very peculiar. And Tony Raines' commentary said that would have shocked Chinese audiences then as well. It may not have ever been done, but King Wu's grew up in northern China, a fairly wealthy family, and he was a devotee of Chinese opera. And Chinese opera evidently has a big influence on his filmmaking and his filmmaking style and the fluidity of the action. But we have this second story, and this is of two brothers. They're not actually not brothers, but they call themselves brothers. And one of them, the one we meet, he is disguising himself as a drunkard, and he leads these kids with very strange hairdos through the inn to beg for money. He's a beggar, he's a drunk. He sings songs, pretty good songs in this movie, and but he is in disguise as well as Golden Swallow is in disguise, and he's actually the prodigal member of this sect that has made off with the sacred bamboo staff that his older brother It comes to recover, and the older brother is an evil man. He's an abbot, but he too is in disguise because the sect doesn't understand the evil nature of his actions. So we have a kind of first half, second half kind of thing where the first half is Pei Cheng, and then she, at the last half hour at least, she basically disappears from the action, and which is a shame because she is absolutely charismatic. This is her first major role. She had trained as a dancer from the time she was a little girl, and then when she was young, she became a student at the Shaw Studios Academy. Shaw Studio, I forget what it's called, Movie Time or something. They had this giant studio, and where they trained young people in the arts, of martial arts and acting and movement. And her background as a dancer really plays into her charisma because she has such fluid motions, and she's a pretty good actress as well. And this is really the only film, I think, that King Wu actually filmed for the Shaw Brothers Studios, because Run Shaw, who was the head of the studio, the brother who headed the studio, he couldn't get along. King Wu could not get along with him, and King Wu was a perfectionist. He went over budget. Run Shaw was all about profit. And there was, I think, at least one previous film that Ron Shaw stopped the production like halfway through because that King Wu was directing because he was so far over budget. And and he had also been an actor. He actually started as an actor and was under contract to the Shaw Brothers Studio as an actor. But he wasn't under contract as a director. So after Come Drinking With Me was made, he goes to Taiwan to work for another production company where he's promised more freedom. And and as he was not under contract, but Shaw Brothers Studio was quite upset about all this, and but there really wasn't much they could do about it, and they were upset as well because Come Drink With Me was a huge hit. I think the second highest grossing movie in Hong Kong of that year. And King Wu makes Dragon Inn, and another film with an inn in the title, and Come Drink With Me is considered the first of the Inn trilogy. And there is a terrific scene in the opening when Golden Swallow comes into this inn disguised as a man, and everybody and the gangsters are all there, and they each take a turn at trying to get the better of her. At that point, they actually think she's a man. And I've seen Raining on the Mountain, I think it's called, and Touch of Zen. I've never seen Dragon Inn. Where both movies I really liked, and both movies featuring very strong female characters that King Wu really liked, and that was part of Chinese opera. And also in Chinese opera, the tradition of women playing male parts. And in other movies, Pei Cheng actually, she was consistent with her roles as a man, even having a beard and a mustache. In one of the roles that she played, and if you've never seen her, this is Pei Cheng. And in the supplements, we get a 50-minute interview with her, and she is as delightful an interviewee as she is an actress. And she talks about her entire career from the time she was a young girl dancing to, I think it was made in 2004, so up to 2004, because she continued. She took a break to raise her children, and then she got back into the movies again. I think she's still active in movies into the 20 teens. So And then we get interviews with some of the other actors that appeared in the movie, and I assume most of these are from 2004, and they're fairly in depth. But then and then we get a Tony Raines commentary. I always find him kind of dry and even soporific. I confess twice during listening to his commentary, I dozed off and I had to backtrack. But he is, you know, an expert on Chinese cinema of all kinds, and so there's, you know, tremendous amount of information that he provides in his commentary. And then we get two essays in this book, in this booklet, which, like I say, is really, really good. And the second essay is really extensive, the kind of essay you don't normally get. It's in depth. It covers King Hu's career, and is especially focusing on his relationship to the Shaw brothers, and especially to Run Run Shaw himself. It's called The Clash of Two Cinema Legends, which I thought, I mean, absolutely, it's so comprehensive and very easy to read, even though the print on these booklets is pretty small. So, like Wuxia movies, this is one you got to have in your collection, from a beautiful Arrow edition. Okay, thanks for everybody who managed to listen to me. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.